Welcome to this. Welcome to the Spa Girls podcast, the self-publishing podcast for authors. You're in the right place for the best writing, marketing, and publishing advice, plus interviews with industry experts and best-selling authors. I'm Cheryl Phipps.
I'm Shah Barrett.
And I'm Wendy Vella, and this is just the three of us today.
Hello.
Hello. It's getting to be a habit.
It is, like you did when I was away.
That's true.
So we're going to talk about comparisonitis today, and
It sounds like a particularly nasty rash.
It is.
Comparisonitis.
Very, very nasty
And
rash.
it's catching, right?
It is
catching.
catching. Yeah, watch out.
Unfortunately, I mean, I think we live in a world where we can see what everyone else is doing, right? Successes and failures. And if
to be fair, we see all the highlights of what everybody else
we have
doing.
a highlight
reel. See how they got there.
Yeah.
And that's it though, right? What people post is a highlight reel of their successes,
absolutely.
not what's going on behind the scenes.
It's like the Botoxed, filtered version of an author life.
And doesn't that start, if you're a little bit down or things are not going as well, doesn't that start with the little niggle of why are they successful and I'm not?
Or what is wrong with me that I'm not like them?
Yeah.
You know,
it's sad that we go there actually.
But it's constant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I think back to when I first started or a year in and as to where I am now, I should be happy, just like you guys should be, but there's still that little niggle as to why am I not this? Why haven't I achieved that? Why can't I? I mean, I think you've got to be very careful to look at goals versus that comparisonitis insofar as these are the goals I want to achieve. I haven't achieved them yet, and I'm a little bit annoyed about that, but I'm driving towards them, as opposed to standing back and not doing all the work and just looking at other people and going, why am I not as successful as them?
Or feeling bitter and twisted about it, or they must have, cheated the system, whatever.
I think you actually, literally have to take whoever your idol is out of the equation for a lot of it, because your day-to-day life can't be theirs, because you don't know what they're doing. You can guess at it as much as you like. You can try new things, you can test new things, and that's all good. But basically, you have a day-to-day life that you have to action in some way that's meaningful for you, so that, as Wendy said, making goals, each goal that you achieve means something to you. It's driving you forward. It's pushing you to where that person is, but you can't just get there overnight. You can't.
No.
Different
stages, right? Different stages. And I mean, I think it's very important to compare yourself with yourself, not compare yourself with someone else. You never know what sort of money they've got going on behind them. You never know the team they've got.
Right.
You never know what's going on in their life as opposed to what's with it.
Names. I think that's something.
Exactly. You don't. That's exactly right. You don't know what their story is, and I think if you compare yourself with yourself, you're doing better. So if I compare myself now as to 2 years ago, where was I then, and how far have I come? I think taking someone else out of the equation. It's great to admire people and aspire, but it's not great to compare to the point where it sends you spiraling.
That's it. I think that's the point, right? Like comparison, if it's a force to propel you forward, fine and good, but if it's something that you use to keep yourself down or push you down, or you feel it's heavy on your heart, that's not good.
I mean, depression is too readily, easily to come by. That's not what you need. What you need is to lift yourself up, and other people can try to do that, but you actually have to do it yourself. And I think a lot of that is mindset. You have to wake up in the morning being happy where you are, or at least happy enough that the next thing you do, it will build on that, rather than take you down because you haven't done this, that, or the other. Each little thing you tick off is a thing done, right? And you didn't do it yesterday, maybe, or you didn't do it last year, but this year, wow, or this month, finally, you did get that thing done that you'd been meaning to do. You did recover your books, or you did hire an editor that's doing a better job for you. Those things matter.
They do.
Measurable goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, I've talked about it before, but I keep a what I call Chivies list, and it's things that I do each month, because I can guarantee you in 2 weeks' time, you are not going to remember little steps forward that you took this week unless you write it down. You know, we so often gloss over, you know, hey, I picked up 5 new keywords, or, you know, I you know, did a class on XYZ, or I read a great article on this, that kind of thing. It's those little steps that are the accumulation towards
even writing
an achievement.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Even writing, like, okay, writing is just what we do, right? But I write between 3,000 and 5,000 words a day, sometimes more. So by the end of the week, that's a lot of words, but I never look back on those words and go, that was awesome. You're keeping that goal where you want it to be, you know, that sort of thing. I think you've really got to look at your processes, look at your goals, and look at yourself and understand what you are achieving in a week, like Shah says, and then tick that list off.
And so for a lot of people listening, the idea of writing 3,000 to 5,000 words a day is actually a word count that they're not going to achieve. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's just that some people's speed won't be there, or their time, or whatever. So you can't don't look at, like, you be inspired by Wendy, but don't use it as a measure or a stick to beat yourself up with.
Don't make it your goal.
If you can do 500 a day or a week, that's great. You know, it's the accumulation of those words together. It's, you know,
it's your goal. And that's the thing. And it's just like it's your journey. And I think continually comparing yourself with others is going to make this a really tough gig, because we want you to have a long career. You know, this is your life. This is your life. You want it to be in 10 years, you want to be still writing. You know, you want to be still going, you want to be growing. This is your career you're building. And to think that, you know, shortcuts are not going to work, comparing yourself to others are not going to work. You know, you've got to own this and take the steps to achieve what you want to achieve.
And also see what works for you. Try out trying to write 1,000 words a day. How easy was it? If it was really easy, then push your goal out a little bit. If it wasn't easy, then knock it back a bit, because you want to be able to sustain it. Wendy and I and Shara, I don't think we don't write every day anymore. We try to, but what that means in our heads is that I didn't get the words down today. That is going to affect when this book comes out, or when it gets to the editor. So tomorrow I need to do a bit more, or over the course of the week, each day I'll need to do a bit more, or I might have to work on the weekend. Whatever it takes to get you there is what you do, but you don't do it at the risk of your health or your mental health, because it's just not worth it.
But there's a lot of variables, right, that play into account as well, aren't there? Like your health, or people around you, your family, the best laid plans. But, you know, I think of the year I've had has been terrible, but because, and then that's an adjustment. That's adjust. It doesn't mean to say I failed. Doesn't mean to say it hasn't worked. It just means that I need to adjust and then and start again. You know?
And I would say, and you know, we've talked about this ad information, we all know it. We're all adults here and listening. But social media can be a blessing and a curse, particularly if you're feeling a little low, or you're feeling a little, man, you know, here we are in October and I'm still working on my Q1 goals or my Q2 goals kind of thing. So I think, you know, if necessary, do what I did. Let's get an app that forces you to do a deep breath before the social media app opens, and it stops that sort of immediate doom scrolling. So I've utilized that. The irony of an app controlling my app use is not lost on me, but there it is. And it's really helped, because so often, you know, particularly when we're feeling low, I think you're more susceptible to the feelings of comparisonitis. You know, I really do. I think, you know, other people's, whether it's their writing or whether it's their life, they're seeing you know, man, so-and-so's, you know, basking on a Greek island or whatever, you know. It's tough. We're all human, you know. But I think maybe control that, or have a really carefully curated who you're looking to and looking at. And we've said it before, but I cannot tell you how many authors that we've had on this podcast, and what we don't realize is the behind the scenes, the struggles that they might have had that they don't talk about, for a very good reason. Nobody's has to, tell all. Everybody's entitled to their privacy. You don't know I don't want to use the word failures, but that maybe experiments or pen names that they haven't had, that haven't worked, that they may not or may not share. So you really, as Wendy said, you don't really know what's behind it. And so I think and also sometimes that when we have been privy to maybe an author's sort of private story off the recording, when we've sort of gone off the recording, we've finished, we've always been like, man, you got to be careful what you wish for, sometimes.
Yes. And the thing is, I think a slow growth is better. I mean,
nobody wants to hear that. People want the course that promises guarantees, 7
we want the golden
figures in
ticket.
a year.
Everybody does. That's just why human nature.
Lotteries are run, right? That's why we go to the casino. It is human nature.
Yeah.
But and you don't sell a course on, hey, guess what? It's sustained long-term effort with probably a few, bum notes thrown in there.
But then what in life can you do that is just going to happen, right?
Exactly.
So it's a growth thing, and like we really want, like I've said, we want a sustainable career that's going to last. We want your books to be picked up. And it's not going to
kind of kill you in the process, whether it's kill you physically, mentally, or your spirit, honestly.
I mean, we've all been through moments that we've questioned.
Absolutely.
Many times. What are we doing? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But we've kept going, and now we're at a stage where, it's really working for us.
I've spent decades like figuring out, wondering what was wrong with me, that I couldn't produce, let alone 3,000 to 5,000 words, but 1,000 words a day would have been maybe happy. I'm at a point now where I am that I can, but it's none of this has come easy to any of us.
No. Exactly.
And I think too, where people are coming to the author career from can make a huge difference. Like their past, were they a marketer?
Yes.
Were they an
so.
English teacher who wrote little screenplays on the side, or I don't know, but there's so many things you could have been.
There's definitely some backgrounds, I think, particularly in marketing, or maybe tech, but particularly marketing, from that sort of business marketing side of things, that is an absolute advantage, absolute.
And also having a budget, like some people have a hefty budget that right from the get-go they can throw at it.
And they can throw all their time at it.
That's
and most of us didn't come to it that way. We were still raising children. We were going to work full time.
Exactly.
We didn't have extra money to throw at any sort of promotions. You know.
Or if you've got a partner, particularly if you're in the States and you've got somebody with health coverage, which is health insurance is such a huge thing to consider when you're going away from the normal workforce, if you like.
I think it's sad, and I just get saddened because I've been to quite a few things lately, conferences and that, talking to other authors, that a lot of them are at that stage where they're just like they can't work out why it's not working for them, and they can't work out. I mean, the thing is, it is a game that is an up and down scenario. It is.
That's it. And I think that's another point. Just because it's working at one point doesn't mean it's going to work in another. So I don't mean that in a depressing way, but it is up and down.
And we're coming into Q4, which is going to be really tough, especially with the American elections and various other things coming on. So there's a high chance, and this is when it is a tough ask. It is, but look, keep going, keep striving, keep learning, but just learn from the right people.
And I would also say, just because things are the way they are now doesn't mean they're going to be like that in a year. Again, we're a little bit like the dinosaurs of the self-publishing podcasting world, but it gives us the benefit of looking back over almost a decade in this industry. And 5 years ago, the dream of having a direct shop, anybody be able to sell their books direct, we were like, why would you, how could that work? What what reader is going to not buy on Amazon or Barnes and Noble? And here we are now where, so new opportunities coming up. So maybe the sales aren't from the one retailer or from, a certain way. Doesn't mean they can't shift. Look at Book Talk. Look at all the special editions. Who would have thought sprayed edges on a hardcover selling for $30 plus would even be a thing?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
not me.
No.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
and on that note, though,
yeah,
if you're just starting out, don't chase your tail and try and do all the things.
Oh
No.
gosh, no.
You know, like get the few things right and work out what works for you, because some things won't work for you, and you'll go crazy trying to do all the things, and you've only got one or two books, and you can't. It won't.
No.
It's not sustainable. For a long term.
And I think very often, those first one or two, and this is hard to accept, and I'm in this position, but a lot of it is testing initially, making sure that if you're writing in a particular genre, making sure you really hit those things initially with those first few books. Often you need a few tweaks. It's a little bit,
get it right to start with, and that as best as right as you can.
Until you've done it, you don't know. You know what I mean? Like you don't know. So don't put something up.
But I think you need to be patient with how your career is tracking, and I think you need to be incredibly kind to yourself, because you can't move forward, you can't sustain anything if you don't treat yourself kindly, because you'll always be in this flux of worry and anxiety and comparing yourself, and it just serves you,
going to make you fail, right?
Absolutely.
And I think
or hold you back.
Absolutely. And I do think it's good to have try and cultivate a few author pals that are at the same point as you in your career. I think that's really good too, so that you learn from others, but also it's good to see other people going through the same stages, as you. Like when we started, we had author friends that were huge in traditional publishing world, and it's not the same.
No.
and so you love them and you admire them and you're inspired by them, but you can't compare your initial book to somebody that's been
it's a way different journey now from what it was when we first started.
And I think sharing your journey is very important as well, because if you want people to help you, and they will, because it's a fabulous community,
it is.
You need to put yourself out there as well and share for the people that are coming through behind you, as it were, that perhaps are just struggling to get that first book finished. You've got something to say. You did it. How did you do it?
Absolutely.
It's a good
question.
place to be. Yeah.
I think
ask questions.
Being a good community member is actually goes a long way over the comparisonitis thing too. I really do. I think sharing and supporting others and cheering other people on is a good use of your time.
And there's so many Facebook groups out there where you can ask questions. And get 10 answers. But they might be different to what you've been doing. But
and remember to follow the people that you trust and like.
Yes. That's it. That's it. And be
if someone's asking
you
for money,
be wary of those bearing. What is this? This is saying? Be wary of those.
If it's too good, it probably is.
It's too good to be true.
It probably is.
Right?
Sounds.
And nobody has the one answer that nobody else is talking about. That's just nonsense. You can learn everything in this world, honestly, free of charge, through YouTube and through podcasts and through
strive. Like here's the thing: I don't think it's a bad thing to strive to be great.
I agree.
If you want to stay where you are, that's all cool too. But it's not wrong to strive to be great and to be good and to be better. But I think the journey of getting there is a little bit. It's not a race. Okay, it's a slow and steady build up of your career and the things you do. There's so many aspects towards it that will get you to where you want to be. Ticking those boxes and getting them right before you move on to the next step.
Yeah, agreed. So
I mean, I think, do you guys have anything else to say on that? All those pearls of wisdom we just spat out there?
Hopefully it's been uplifting as well as being honest.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, it's human nature to look at the grass is greener. It's human nature too, you know. So just acknowledge that, and you know, maybe let yourself dwell in it for a little bit, but don't dwell too long.
But you're very special doing what you do. Just
absolutely.
remember that. You're very, very special.
And writers tend to be very sensitive people, and you know,
we are.
We need to protect ourselves.
Yeah, we do. So I look at Cheryl and I, who were knew nothing about it.
No,
well, nobody knew anything about it when they first started.
Exactly. It's not like it's not easy, right? And you can't just go to someone and ask them, because there's not that many people doing what we do.
No,
well, there
absolutely.
Are, but, you know,
the beauty of it
who we know personally.
Now,
yeah.
But no, absolutely. And a lot of those services that we have now, like Bookfinner, for example, were born out of authors wanting to do something. So, you know, everybody started at the right where you are. Everybody.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think we've sort of rounded that off. Does anyone have anything else to add on that?
No.
Where can we be found, Shah?
We can be found at spargirlspodcast.com. We can be found on YouTube at Spargirls Podcast, where I know that you have gone to subscribe to get us to our 3,000 by Christmas goal.
Not pushing that at all.
Not pushing that at all. And we can be found at patreon.com if you'd like to buy us a pumpkin spice latte or something similar.
Yeah, or peppermint. I love that peppermint mocha. When it comes
out. I'm not had either of those. So there you go.
Okay, trust me, once you've gone peppermint, you never go back.
Really?
All right.
Okay.
Take it easy, and our Turtles will be back next week, but we will bye for now.
Bye.
Well,
bye.